Why do I live in my camper van and why have I chose to do it in my mid-30s? I get asked this question quite a lot, so I thought I'd just share a couple of my reasons. I do have a lot of reasons, so I'll just go over a couple. Number one is that I've moved house about 16 times in my life, and before I made the move into my camper van I lived in a rented place for 4 years, and that was probably the most settled that I've been since I was about 11 years old. I've never lived somewhere and thought, this is it, this is where I want to stay. I just don't think I'm made to live in a house. I know how I want to settle, but it's not really in a house. My dream is to have some land and build a cabin. Number two, although it's never too late to move into your camper van to live full time, I am in my mid-30s, so I don't know if I'm going to have children yet. So I knew that this was the time that I had to live my dream. While I don't have any responsibilities, I have to take care of any little ones. Not saying that you can't if you live in a van, but I definitely couldn't do it in here. Number three is pretty obvious, and I think a lot of people can relate, that I was just sick of paying rent and bills. Nearly £1,500 a month on a house that I was barely even in anyway. Number four is that I know myself a lot more now than I did in my 20s, and there are a lot less distractions nowadays. My 20s were wild. I partied a lot, I travelled, I moved to the other side of the world, I started a business, and although I do still do all of that stuff, I don't really feel like I have as much pressure on me for like the marriage and kids side of things. I feel like we're so conditioned, like, oh, in your 20s you need to have kids, you need to get married, you need to buy a house. And I think when I got into my 30s I was like, you don't need to do any of that shit. You just know more what makes you happy when you're in your 30s. I have different goals now and living in my van really aligns with them. And number five is that I left a really toxic and abusive relationship in my early 30s. And when I did, I felt so free and I was like, I need more of this feeling. I needed to leave behind all the things that made me stressed and just strip it all back for a more simple way of life. Moving into my camper van full time has been one of the best chapters, if not the best chapter of my life so far.